Good evening to the respected dignitaries, Chairman, President, Vice President, and other on the dais, and other dignitaries of the dais, fellow Chartered Accountants, friends from VCS, and the most excited faces in the room, which is all of you. I could see the broad smiles the moment I entered, and that itself is a very exciting treat to eyes. So first of all, congratulations to all of you. I think the first roadblock has been cleared. Not to disappoint, there are going to be many more roadblocks. This is just the first one. So, probably that is what I thought that I would, speak before all of you. While I was coming to the hall and coming to this venue, I was seeing a lot of you coming together, and I was probably getting into nostalgia of my journey of becoming a chartered accountant, and just comparing that. Indeed, I think one thing which I can say for sure is that you people are really lucky. And one of the most important reasons is that when we cleared, probably we never had this kind of a platform, probably such a big hall for having a felicitation event. I just mentioned, Preeti, that nobody gave me a medal and nobody felicitated me, so probably give me one today. So I think you all are blessed to be part of this journey with us, and obviously we would all want that you continue this journey with us today. I think you coming here today itself is a half job done. And I think there are many more years. I see most of you connected with us. I start with that positive mindset. So I think you all have survived one of the most toughest exams, as we call in India, right? Syllabus which is longer than most of the relationships right now. The amendments which change faster than the Instagram feeds or reels. And that one friend who always used to come outside the exam hall and tell you, "Arey, paper to acha tha, nikal jayega," where you could barely complete the paper. So we have probably survived all of the antics, people, incidences, subjects, topics. But after all of that, I think it's the journey which is worthwhile. Think having that qualification attached to your name, that itself makes it worthwhile. So when experience, while I'm sharing my experience, when I cleared my CA, the immediate two feelings which I had, obviously after refreshing the page multiple times and believing that yes, it is my name, it's my roll number, and it's pass. So after doing all of that, the two immediate feelings which I had is, first, a sense of relief, like, oh God, thanks, I don't have to see those books again. That was an ultimate relief, I can give everything away. And the second is a very big question mark, what next? And I think most of you would also have that, or maybe some of you, if others have sorted. So once again, congratulations, because you are normal. If you're thinking what next and you haven't figured it out all, I think it's never too late to start. Never too late to start thinking, probably when you clear your CA, even if you're 40 or even if you're 60. So I think you all are into the same boat, thinking what next and what is supposed to be done. So, you all, if I may call so, most of you are the, lovingly which I call it the Gen Z generation chartered accountants, right? So, and one thing which I absolutely believe into is that, we see a lot of comparison, right, between the Gen Zs, and I'm a millennial. So we see a lot of comparison, but I think one thing which I can put my heart to and, with confidence says that you people are much more smarter and have really things sorted out. So, while we did have some options, but we didn't know what to do, I'm sure at least most of you would have thought that what is your inclination, what is your lining, what is your field. So, we have changed our topics of felicitation from years to come. Earlier we used to have topic of industry versus practice, and now we know that people have evolved, people know what they want to do. And so here today, I do not want to discuss that, what are your options, what you will have to do, which subject you should choose, how you should choose. I think that probably is best left to you and your introspection. Then what am I here for? I thought that the best way in which I can communicate with all of you is basically just summing up some of my experiences after becoming a chartered accountant. I may not call myself as a fresh chartered accountant, but I still feel it's the day as the evergreen day, and I still feel that I've just cleared. So probably the journey, the stumbles, all of the roadblocks which I had, and summing up of more than a decade of my experience, and I've summed it up into 6 pointers. So before I was coming here, I give a lot of sessions. I talk on a lot of technical sessions, probably 100 plus till date. But when I was supposed to talk here, I was thinking it's really difficult because I'm not given a topic, and I'm used to probably talking on a technical topic. So while I was jotting down, I was actually jotting down my journey, remembering what all things which I have faced, and probably if you could learn from the mistakes which I have made. So coming to that, I think the first element of the 6 pointers which I have written is that, as Zubin Bhai started with, he did mention about having a positive mindset. I think what I would probably reframe it is, along with positive mindset, is something which is required is a solution-oriented mindset. I think once we clear, once we clear our CA and we are getting into a journey, some of you will be starting with your own practice, collaborating with someone, probably joining a big four, doing an industry. Once you get into that, as a fresher, you will be probably thrown into a world where you are having no more instructions. You don't have any suggested answer sheets to copy from and learn and put it into action. Obviously, you do have your articleship experience, which is golden, but an experience of working as a chartered accountant is absolutely different. And the most important difference is the responsibility with which you work. As an article, probably you may not be pinned down to some responsibility, but as a CA, from day one of your job or your practice, you are responsible for your actions. And that is when probably you will come across a lot of issues, a lot of problems. And problems are going to be part of it. One thing which has helped me sail through it is having a mindset wherein you resolve yourself from day one that I have the solution for this particular matter. Come what may. I think having a solution-oriented mindset really opens a lot of doors. Probably a very complicated task can be brought down to a very simpler task, and you will be able to achieve. And once you start believing into that, you start probably telling yourself that I do have a solution for this particular problem. It may be a personal problem, it may be a professional problem, it may be a problem of dealing with your team. It could be anything. But once you resolve and keep on repeating to yourself that I do have a solution, I am telling you 100% you will definitely have a solution for the same, and it's my personal experience. So I think mindset makes a lot of difference. So let us begin. Whenever you are starting your job, do have that kind of a mindset and start with that positive mindset. Things will start falling in place automatically. The second most important element which has helped me is also related to mindset, but it is extremely important in today's competitive world, is embracing challenges. So you need to be ready for whatever has been put across your path. There will be again a lot of stumbles, lot of challenges across your way, and you will have to push yourself outside the comfort zone. So when you start, your first day, first month, you're going to be really excited, probably a year or two. The real challenge in the professional world will start when 2 to 3 years pass and you feel that you're doing the same thing again. Probably you might just change jobs to probably have a new feeling. But at the end of the day, the mundane kicks in. You are stuck in a life cycle of working. Probably that will start when you're working for 2 to 3 years. And that is when you will have to realize that we have to do something different from your ordinary task. And that is what I think all of us sitting on dais do on everyday basis. We challenge ourselves, we embrace the opportunities, and we be part of different activities so that we are not stuck to the routine. And believe me, when you do some things which are beyond your work, it has a direct impact on the efficiency of the work which you do, because you have a limited time frame in which you are functioning. So embrace the challenges. I think one story which I remember, and since we are at the BCS platform, is one thing which was introduced in my profile was that I'm an editor to the BCS referencer. Now the story for that is really funny of how I started. So probably more than 14 years, I think I'm editing the referencer. And I was part of one WhatsApp group just because I was a member of BCS, which is now called as BCS Youth Group, which all of us are part of. And a message had come on the group, wherein just a simple message, the BCS Referencer, which is the flagship publication, the largest selling publication till date, is looking for a young editor. If anyone is interested, please DM. I don't know what came into me, and I just thought that I should try it out. Probably I have that mindset that I want to go for it, right? Now I just messaged to the convener or the person who had messaged, who's a very good friend of mine. Believe me, I had not even an iota of understanding of what is the job of an editor of a referencer, or rather what is a referencer at all. But I just plunged into it with my brave heart, nothing more. And to my surprise, I got a call and they were like, okay, fine, you can be the editor and you can join. One thing which I came to know is that a lot of people replied. The only difference was I didn't have any talent, nobody knew me, I didn't know anyone. The only difference was I answered simply by a yes, unconditionally, without any conditions or without asking any questions. What is the time frame? What is required? What is the key responsibility? What will I have to do? No questions. Just a yes. And probably I just got into. And got into how? I think Sangeeta Pandit ma'am, who's just sitting here, she was one of the co-editors of the referencer at that time. I had an opportunity to discuss and be on the same table as to all accomplished chartered accountants with an experience of 25 to 30 years. And I was 22, so they had experienced more than my life. So that is the kind of opportunity I got by just a simple reply to a message. So that is what I mean by embracing the opportunities and getting inside a zone which you don't know. Probably I think as we say that, the more risk you take, the more rewards you get. So keep doing that. That is not a one-time affair. Keep doing that. In my articleship days, I remember one of our mentors had given one piece of advice which I remember and follow till date, is that your resume, irrespective whether you are applying anywhere, irrespective whether you are having your own practice and you don't have to give, your resume should change every 6 months. Now, don't quote me and keep on changing the jobs every 6 months. That's not what I meant. When I tell that it should change every 6 months, what I mean is that every 6 months, you should make a conscious effort to probably add one skill set or probably one qualification or one new experience, and if nothing, one additional hobby. But something has to be scaling in your resume every 6 months, and that is how you are going to be different from all others who have cleared along with you. If you want to make a difference, lakhs of chartered accountants have cleared, right? If now is the time when you will have to make a mark for yourself. You will have to stand out differently. That one consistent effort of changing your resume every 6 months, make that effort, and you will see that you have gained a lot. I think the power of multiplication or doing things constantly is definitely going to help. So please get into that, embrace challenges, do not get scared, and keep doing things which are new. Now, the third thing, which is more on the the kind of work which you do, and which I think again in today's generation is extremely important, is that work with a lot of work ethics. Ethics is something which is not optional. We all had a subject on ethics, and I'm not talking about that ethics. What I'm talking about is when you become a chartered accountant, you not only build yourself as a qualified person, you build your character in the journey in which you are. This is the time when you start working, you make choices for yourself. You build your character, you build your ethics, and you stick to it. There will be so many CAs around you, but if you want to shine out, you want to be different, you will have to stick to the ethics which you are making for yourself. Have some principles made for you and stick by it across the life. Like, whatever you do, like it could be anything, and ethics is a very big term. So what I mean is probably discipline is something which has been ingrained to us as CA students right from the beginning. The moment you become CA, you have to start having self-discipline, because now there is no one who is watching you. Now there is no one who is going to correct you. It's only the time which is going to correct you and probably tell you that you've done something wrong in the past, and that is why you've not reached where you want to. So have that ethics around, and I think ethics in the long run builds character, and that is what you will be satisfied with. The fourth, which is which I have a very big relevance into my profession also, because I practice as an advocate, and conversing, arguing, putting up our matters in the court is a part and parcel of every single day. Now, with all chartered accountants, wherever you go, whichever place you go, one extremely important tool which you should have is effective communication skills. Now, you all are trained with GMCS. I'm sure you are knowing that, how do you want to communicate. You obviously know how to communicate. When I'm talking about effective communication skills, I'm talking about having that kind of communication skills where your words would have some value, where what you want to speak, you will have to communicate your thoughts in the same way in which you perceive it. So, just having a command over language or just speaking, probably for an hour or two, that's not an effective communication skill. Effective communication skill is that you should be able to do the work in the way in which you want. You should be able to understand, make the person understand, and this is going to help you everywhere in all walks of life. Like again, irrespective whether you're practicing or whether you are in industry, irrespective, it is going to help. I had one of my clients, in my early days, and I was into litigation field. Generally we used to not get work easily because as we see that doctors, surgeons, advisors, you all have normally white hair. So I used to have a lot of trouble in getting work. But I had one client of mine, a very big industry, who gave me work from day one. We had one meeting and gave me work for day one. That person is still my client for past 14 years now. And I keep asking feedback from my clients also to improve myself. So just recently I asked him, and I want to know the reason why you stuck around me. I was no one. When I came to you, when I approached you for work, I was no one. The answer which he gave was really, I think, astonishing to me, which I never considered. I undermined that. He just told me one line, that you were the only one who listened to me. I met a lot of CAs, I met CAs from Big Fours, I met a lot of senior counsels also. They never had time for me. You were the only person who picked up the call at any time when I called you and listened to me without putting a time to it, or without putting any money or a quote to whatever time you're spending on the same. And that is the leverage which all of you have. Probably once 10, 15, 20 years down the line, you might not have that kind of time. But now, yes, you have a lot of time. So that is what he told me. And I think listening is one of the most underrated communication skills. Because most of the people, they listen to respond or to react. I think what is required is you need to listen to understand. Once you understand your client, or you understand your boss, or you understand your colleagues, I think you try to look into things from a different lens altogether. So listen not only to hear, but also to understand. And I think that makes a lot of difference. It helped me really in my journey, and I hope that if you follow the same, it will really help you also. Now, coming to one another element which also is connected to my personal story, which is also very important in today's competitive times, is that we don't need to compare our timelines. So I think we all know that you don't need to compare. And when we used to be young, we used to all hate when our parents used to compare us with someone else, right? कि पड़ोसी के बच्चे ने ये कर दिया, first rank आया, they are so good in sports. We always used to resent our parents for that if they compare us. Unfortunately, I think while growing, we became our parents because we started comparing ourselves with others. And I think that we all have unconsciously somewhere or the other done. But I think that needs to stop somewhere. So do not compare your timelines, and this is extremely important from day one because right now, all of you sitting out here, all have cleared in the same attempt. Your journey as a qualified professional starts now. 10 years down the line, some of you may be probably partners of a big four or at a very senior position. Some may be practicing and trying to flourish. Some may have started practice, realized that that was not the good part. I wanted to do a job, and they are starting their career from probably 2.0. And all of these journeys are equally valid because you are allowed to make mistakes and you are allowed to rethink at any point of time when you want it. Obviously, practically, but at the same time, everyone's journey is different. You don't know anyone else's story. So do not compare your timelines with anyone else. I think if at all you want to compare yourself with your own past. Make goals for yourself. Make probably a SWOT analysis for yourself. Work on your weaknesses. But do not compare yourself with others. Don't be too harsh on yourselves. Take life as it comes. And it's okay to not achieve success at the rate in which other people are getting, right? Like my own personal journey, I started as a chartered accountant. I worked with a firm for 3 to 4 years. After that, I realized that I want to get into a practice of litigation. And that is when, so in our times, people used to do all degrees together. They used to do CA, CS, LLB, everything together to save time. And I never did that. Probably I never thought that. But later on, I think 4 to 5 years down my journey, I really came to know that no, this is the field in which I want to get into. Now, I started a course probably late in my journey. By that time, most of my friends were already getting trained under senior advocates. So a normal person would complete a law course which is quite easy, not that challenging in 3 years. I completed in 7 years because I took multiple breaks. I gave my 1 semester exam when I was 7 months pregnant, one when my child was born. So I took a lot of time, and also I repented that, wish I could have done something earlier. I started my advocacy when most of my peers were trained under advocates for 10 years, and I was starting without any training. I pushed myself directly into the courtroom without any training, just plunging into the risk. So, but at the same time, I don't repent a single day out of it because I know that I had my limitations, I had made my choices, and I'm happy with the choices which I have made. So I think you will make a lot of wrong choices. There's nothing to be bothered about. I think that is all which helps you. It builds resilience, it builds grit. So do not compare your timelines. You can start from anywhere. No pressure from anyone else except for yourself. So do not have that pressure in mind. And I think lastly, which is something which is very close and dear to my heart, and which is the one principle which I have followed and learned by looking at my seniors, by looking at a lot of chartered accountants around me who have selflessly given their time to the profession, is the philosophy of giving first. So now, while you are accomplishing everything, there is one thing which we, all of us sitting out here, should have it in our mind, that we are blessed and we have a lot of gratitude to be given to where we are. Blessed to have motivators, mentors, parents, teachers, so that you are here where you are. And now is the time to repay back. And the time to repay back starts right from you becoming CA. You owe to the society, you owe to the profession. You don't have to give back when you are 45 or 50. You have to start giving from day one. Because a lot of people, ask me that, why do you do BCS, or why are you associated with an organization or some other organizations, whichever a social work which you put up your work into and you put a lot of innumerable hours into. My only simple answer is, why not? Why not take up something which is more than your routine work? why not do something much more than what you are capable to do? We have abundance of time in hand, and I think Aditya just asked me that, how do I manage? I think the answer to that is that if we have a priority set, we always have time for everything. Movie jana hai to time mil jata hai, right? If we want to hang out with friends, we take the time out of our schedule and we go. Same way, if you dedicate a time slot when you have to give back to the profession, and you can give back in innumerable ways. But you have to have that feeling ingrained in you right from day one. So you can be a speaker anywhere. I'm not talking only about BCS, but you could be a speaker, you could be a writer. Share the work which you do, help other people, and if you go with that mentality, I think you will receive something in abundance much more than what you have already given. So when always people ask, a lot of you would have questions that what would I get if I become a member of BCS? Or what benefit do I get if I probably join a study circle, or what benefit? I think the answer to that is this, that if you start something or look for benefits first, you will never have any answer. So I think none of us will have any answers to you to give you any tangible answer of what benefit you will get. Only and only if you will start contributing your time, you will start getting associated. Things which I have received in my personal journey as BCS is innumerable. So I'll just take 2 minutes to share my experience and my journey in Bombay Chartered Accounting Society. So for most of you who wouldn't know, and even off dais, is that I come from a zero professional background. Like not a single chartered accountant in the entire extended family also. The first one, and no professional background. I start from that level, wherein I joined BCS as a student. I heard about it somewhere, probably my principal, in my articleship firm, he pushed me to join into BCS, and I joined BCS as a student. And fast forward journey of probably 15-16 years, here I am standing before you from a person who was nowhere to become the treasurer of BCS. And I don't take much credit for that, because there are so many hands after it. I don't take the credit of being where I am, because people have unconditionally loved me and supported me in BCS. For a person having no background. So if, as the chairman mentioned, that we have a buffet of things to offer you. So if you like to write, you can write for our journal, provided it is a well-researched article. You don't need any references or names for getting your article published into a journal. If you are a good speaker, you can start with study circles. You can always come on any of our platforms and you can speak. If you're good at organizing events or organizing parties, right, you can definitely organize events for BCS. We have a lot of people who are organizers, and it develops your overall personality. We have more than 100 plus events which we do in the year. And if at all, you're none of that and you're just a spectator, you can still be a part by being a participant, to the residential courses, the long duration courses, and participate to our all other events which we have online, offline. So there's a lot of things which are available, and I think the benefits which you're going to reap is something which you will not be able to quantify in time or money. Because as my journey in BCS, I've got to meet with people double my age, double my experience. I have got an opportunity to be part of policy making representations. I've got opportunity to meet the Union Minister of Law. I've got an opportunity to be part of the advisory council of Niti Aayog, and all of that would have never been possible for a no one like me. So the answer to your questions, that to do something beyond and something more, is that you will have to start by putting yourself, immersing yourself, join us in this organization, and most importantly, give first. Once you give first, to CA, to profession, to friends, to family, I think you will start receiving a lot in abundance. So to all of you, I think the only thing which I would like to say is that you all have got your degrees, Now is the time that you have to build your story. So I think with that, I'll just end, and once again, congratulations.